You're right to say that we want to improve relations with the EU. We think we can get a better deal than the botched deal that Boris Johnson brought home, and we will work on that, understanding a very strong mandate now, a very strong mandate for change, for a different relationship with the EU, a different way of doing politics, and we go forward in that spirit. We do have to get on with implementing the important changes that are necessary under the existing arrangements that we've got, because we're not going to be able to get a better relationship unless we demonstrate a commitment to the relationship and the agreements that have already been put.
King Charles's face said it all during that awkward exchange with Starmer last week. The monarch's visible discomfort as the PM outlined his plans to sideline hereditary peers wasn't just a momentary lapse, it was a rare glimpse into royal disapproval. With only 17% of Britons believing Starmer's government is performing well, this clash represents something far more significant than a mere disagreement. As Labour's approval ratings plummet to historic lows, could this royal tension be the catalyst that finally shatters Starmer's fragile grip on power? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Was King Charles actually furious or just uncomfortable? The footage might only show subtle discomfort, but behind those measured expressions lies a constitutional monarch pushed to his breaking point. While maintaining his characteristic composure in public, sources close to Buckingham Palace reveal that King Charles is privately seething over Starmer's government's systematic dismissal of royal consultation on critical matters. The heart of this conflict cuts deeper than mere political disagreement.
The new European Commission President says that it will be impossible to reach a comprehensive deal with the UK by the end of the year. Do you then favour extending the transitional period?
If in 6 months' time it's obvious that the deal isn't going to be done by the end of the year, but Parliament has to have the chance to say, look, don't crash us out without a deal. Let us have a say in what happens next, because once we've left, that future relationship with the EU is all important, completely. We will leave the EU in 3 weeks' time, and therefore the debate about leave and remain goes, because we will be outside the EU. But it doesn't mean that we stop challenging the government about what the future relationship should look like.
When Starmer recently attacked hereditary peers in Parliament, he wasn't just targeting the House of Lords, he was striking at the very foundation of monarchy itself. Think about it. If hereditary positions in government are deemed unacceptable, how can the hereditary succession of the crown remain unchallenged? This wasn't a casual policy statement, but a calculated move that places Charles in an impossible position. During the parliamentary opening ceremony, body language experts noted Charles's visible discomfort as he recited government policies that fundamentally contradict his values. The subtle tension in his delivery wasn't imagined. It was the restrained response of a monarch forced to give voice to an agenda that potentially undermines his own institution. For a constitutional monarch bound by neutrality, this represents an extraordinary dilemma. The tensions between Downing Street and Buckingham Palace aren't merely superficial. By sidelining traditional royal influence, Starmer is disrupting centuries of careful balance that has positioned the monarchy as a stabilising force above partisan politics. Previous prime ministers have generally recognised the value of this arrangement, consulting with the palace on matters of constitutional significance. Starmer's approach marks a stark departure from this practice. Perhaps most telling was Charles's recent statement to Canadian officials expressing his deep affection for Canada. What might seem like routine diplomatic pleasantries takes on new significance when viewed through the lens of current UK tensions. Many royal observers interpret this as a subtle diplomatic rebuke, the king seeking solidarity with Commonwealth nations while facing unprecedented challenges at home. This clash isn't merely political theatre for public consumption, it represents a genuine constitutional showdown with far-reaching implications for Britain's governing institutions. Throughout history, the relationship between monarch and prime minister has occasionally been strained, but today's political landscape makes this particular conflict especially dangerous. With social media amplifying every royal gesture and public trust in politicians at historic lows, the monarchy's role as a unifying symbol becomes even more crucial. The constitutional crisis couldn't have erupted at a worse time for Starmer, who now faces a perfect storm of his own making. Those ambitious promises that secured Labour's election victory, they've collided head-on with the brutal reality of 25% higher housing costs and plummeting living standards. This isn't just a minor political setback, it's a total collapse of public confidence that threatens to bring down his government before it's properly begun. Look at the numbers. They tell the story of a political implosion unprecedented in modern British history. Starmer's personal approval ratings have nosedived to an astonishing -30%, a freefall that would be comical if it weren't so damaging to national stability. How does a party go from electoral triumph to public pariah in mere months? By systematically betraying every principle they claim to stand for. The economic indicators paint a grim picture of a Britain in decline under Labour's watch. While Starmer's ministers offer hollow reassurances, families across the country are facing the harsh reality of inflation outpacing wages, crumbling infrastructure, and a housing market that's spiralling further out of reach. That 25% increase in housing costs isn't just a statistic. It represents thousands of families who can no longer afford to heat their homes or put food on the table. Even Labour's own MPs are jumping ship. Behind closed doors, parliamentary whispers of leadership challenges grow louder each week. The party that promised unity now faces internal fractures that can't be papered over with carefully worded press releases. Several senior Labour figures have privately expressed concern about Starmer's leadership direction, creating an atmosphere of distrust that permeates every level of government. What's particularly fascinating is how Starmer's attempt to sideline royal influence has spectacularly backfired. At a time when political chaos reigns, the public has increasingly looked to the monarchy as a stabilising force, a symbol of continuity and tradition in uncertain times. By attacking this institution, Starmer has alienated voters who see royal traditions as an essential part of British identity, further eroding his already fragile support base. Into this power vacuum steps Nigel Farage and Reform UK, experiencing what can only be described as a meteoric rise in support. Positioning himself as the defender of British traditions, Farage has crafted a message that resonates with voters who feel abandoned by conventional politics. His party isn't just peeling away disgruntled Conservative voters, they're making significant inroads into traditional Labour heartlands, creating a political realignment that could reshape British politics for generations. The confrontation between King Charles and Starmer isn't just a passing political spat, it's a constitutional watershed moment that could fundamentally alter Britain's political landscape. Historically, tensions between the monarchy and government have triggered major political realignments, with previous confrontations often shifting public sentiment and birthing new political movements. We're witnessing history repeating itself, but with a modern twist. What's truly remarkable is how this royal friction has exposed the fragility of our constitutional arrangements. British democracy has always depended on unwritten rules and mutual respect between institutions. When that breaks down, as we're seeing now, the entire system becomes vulnerable. The coming political season will be decisive. Either Starmer finds a way to repair this royal relationship and address the mounting public dissatisfaction, or this clash with the monarchy might well be remembered as the catalyst for his government's eventual collapse. The monarchy has outlasted countless prime ministers before, and Charles knows it.